What's up, everybody? This is Brick MMA back from UFC 316 the morning after. Guys, I want to let you know right now, if you ever have the opportunity to go to a UFC event, please go. It's truly like such an immersive experience. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever played the UFC games, but low key it feels just like that, bro. But but yeah, man. Just to talk about that before I get into the card, because this was a pretty solid card. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, that's something to mention as well. If there's an event in your area and the card is trash, I don't know. I'd probably just say use your better judgment. You know what I'm saying? Like, depends who's there, depends who's not. But yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to the meet and greets, so I missed out meeting Sean Brady, Justin Gaethje. I probably wasn't gonna hop in the Dominic Reyes line, but shout out Dominic Reyes too. Frankie. Who else was there? Who else was supposed to be there? I don't think Corey was. All right, but those are some of the names that I remember right now. But I got some merch too. Shit kind of clean. I ain't gonna lie. But we're gonna get into the card, right? UFC 316, Merab versus Sean O'Malley, the rematch. I'm gonna start off talking about the main event, right? We all saw. I don't know why I fell into the propaganda, bro. I do not know why I fell into the propaganda of No Goon O'Malley. Locked in O'Malley, whatever you want to call him, bro. Oh my god. I don't even. So for one, after the first round, I was kind of like, oof, this is bad. I was like, this is bad for O'Malley. Because you can already see the tempo. Like, he tried to put the pressure on early on and not be the one moving backwards. But Merab's just, I don't know how he does it, but he just turned the tides on O'Malley in terms of the pressure. He was the one putting the pressure on him. And as soon as I recognized that, that's when the fight started going downhill for O'Malley. Yeah. Pretty sure. Yeah. This was a domination from Merab. This is easily worse than the last fight. Last fight went to decision when Sean O'Malley was injured. This fight didn't go the distance, and O'Malley was healthy, locked in. But we gotta talk about a couple of storylines and narratives that are gonna be coming around from this right here now. So for one, Merab, amazing north south choke. I did not see a submission coming at all. I know I predicted O'Malley was probably gonna get the finish by round 3 or 4, and I swear I'm really not like, I'm not a O'Malley fanboy. I just felt like, I don't know. I guess I just fell into the propaganda, and you know, sometimes you always gotta give it to the person with finishing ability, and it turns out this time Merab wanted to showcase his, so you know. But now I think we have to get into the narrative of bantamweight goats, and I think, man, it's undeniable now, man. I think Merab is the bantamweight goat. I was never too deep into Dominic Cruz to really call him my goat, my bantamweight goat. 13 fight win streak now. I think he's tied for like 3rd or 4th. No, I think he's tied at like 3rd all time now. He has like the same win streak as Islam, I believe. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, and what's worse is that um, fuck, what was I gonna say? What's worse about this is the fact that his title reign, like his title fights, aren't even as impressive as his fights before fighting for the title, or in terms of at least in just terms of legacy and resume. Like when he beat O'Malley the first time, O'Malley is only like a one-time defending champion, and this really puts a huge asterisk on O'Malley's career, because there just requires so much context for any of these fights. I feel like if you were to just show somebody O'Malley's resume, you would think he's a lot better than he is. All right, and I think we have to finally acknowledge that Sean O'Malley maybe isn't that great. He's talented and he's good, but he isn't that great. You know, we do have to consider the fact that the Aljamain fight was very forced and rushed for Aljamain, right? Because he literally just finished beating Henry Cejudo, and then he immediately had to make the turnaround, right? And Merab was robbed of his first opportunity of the belt because Sean O'Malley wanted his rematch versus Cheeto. Cheeto did not deserve that rematch at all. Like, there was nothing that he did to deserve that rematch. So, you know, that's kind of a fraud defense, if I'm going to be honest. And it was an impressive win that he got over Aljamain. But in context, it seems kind of fraudulent, especially now that we're seeing what's going on in his career currently. And I think just the trajectory of his career right now, and who he has to fight next, which I think he should fight Umar next. I think he's gonna lose again. And he's gonna drop down in the rankings. And then after he loses to Umar, he's finally gonna call out Corey Sandhagen. Regardless of what happens between Corey and Merab. And I think I have to stop doubting Merab now. I look at Corey, and I don't see how he beats Merab. When Corey fought Figgy, that wasn't a good version of Figgy there, to be honest. It really wasn't. He showed some decent grappling defense, and some solid prowess on the ground, especially in that fight and in the Umar fight. But I don't think it's enough. He's gonna get fireman carried. I think this is gonna be his thing now. Like, it's gonna be his signature move, because he fireman carried Cejudo. He fireman carried O'Malley, saved O'Malley from the fire. But yeah, bro, people in the building were so tight that Sean O'Malley lost. And I gotta be honest, I know I made my prediction for O'Malley yesterday, and I was sitting down in my seat. I had really good seats. Not like super up close, but like in the middle, and like I can see everything. I can see the big screen. I can see them in the cage. I can see what's happening in the cage, bro. It's an amazing experience, guys. You have to go. But back to what I was saying. When I was sitting down and the main event was about to start, I was like, man, I really can't confidently say or think that O'Malley was going to win. Like, I'm looking at all these people rooting for O'Malley, and it's like, there's no way you guys genuinely think he's going to win. So, there was a lot of Georgians that pulled up too. I knew the fan base of Georgians was gonna be deep, because one time I went to the bar to watch the Merab Cejudo fight, and the entire place was packed with Georgians, and I've been to that place before. There was never any Georgians there. And then as soon as Merab was fighting, and Tapuri was fighting same night, that's when they all popped out. Georgians have a really great support base in supporting each other, as a community. And there was this fan that was doing just that. He was an older man with his family. He had the Georgian flag on him and shit. And then behind, like a couple seats behind, us, because the Georgian man was in the row below us, and this guy, Sean O'Malley fan, was heckling at him because he was celebrating the win. And the heckler is like a few rows above, and he's bugging out. He's talking about some. He said, "Why are you so fucking happy, you fat fuck?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" And then I'm not gonna lie, he was violating for this, bro. He said, "Go back to your fucking country." And now I'm gonna be honest, I didn't fuck with that. But I wasn't gonna escalate the situation. I wasn't gonna put pause on him. But it's a culture shock sometimes to realize, as cool as a community, MMA fans can be, there's a lot of snakes in the grass, or wolves in sheep clothing, just in terms of like how they really think and act. I get like USA chants. I get like USA chants for American fighters, and like in home turf or wherever, and I get supporting your fighter and all, but I think there's definitely a line that needs to be drawn. And like it wasn't even towards me, but that's not right. You can hate the fighter as much as you want, but there is no reason for you to start attacking fans that support the other fighter when they aren't doing anything to you. I get like some people are like very annoying with it, and like some people are like really in your face about it, or they try to aggravate you and stuff. And I guess that's a different situation. But like he literally went out of his way to start bothering this older man, who was happy, bro. He was genuinely happy to see his fellow countryman win. But yeah, I'm not gonna continue to rant on about that because I'm just gonna say the same shit over and over. But very impressive win from Merab. He deserves Corey next. He's gonna beat Corey, and then I don't know who he's gonna face after that. Merab is 100% the bantamweight GOAT. His legacy in bantamweight history is so unmatched. His legacy before the belt was better than Aljamain's with the belt. So to me, Merab is 100% the bantamweight GOAT, and I'm pretty sure that's like the smack my mic, sorry. That's the general consensus at the moment. Now, moving on to the co-main event, Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. This was... What's the word? Fuck, I forgot. But thank God this fight ended so much earlier than it did, bro. Shout out Kayla Harrison. She got the job done. Beautiful trips, man. Beautiful trips. Super powerful. I knew, everybody knew her keys to victory were to out-muscle, to out-grapple, and she got the sweep off the cage from the clinch, mounted, and honestly, I thought the round was over because I didn't really see any advancements or any threats to any of the positions. But then, because a lot of people don't go for Kimuras in MMA, and I think that's strange, because it's definitely one of the most effective submissions that you can just attempt. That even just attempting puts you in such dominant positions or advantageous positions to either get to another submission or a stronger position, or you can even get the submission from the Kimura. Like, it's a very dominant technique, and I would say in all grappling, to be honest. But she kind of, so that was surprising to me to see that she kind of pulled that out of nowhere. But yeah, very impressive. Not too much to say, thankfully. And Kayla Harrison is now the bantamweight champ of the women's division, and I was low key surprised to see how tall Amanda Nunes was. I was like, damn, this bitch kind of big. I know Kayla Harrison was big. I'm like, damn, Amanda Nunes is big as fuck too. But that's the next fight, 100% for the women's bantamweight title. Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes for legacy, for legend status, and that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting. I think for that one, I might have to sit down. I might gotta get the UFC shit. The UFC Fight Pass, look at older fights to see who I think could come out on top of this, because that's a very close fight. And I think for that one, I might want to start doing some actual analysis. You know what I'm saying? I might want to start doing some actual analysis if time permits me to. But yeah, and then moving on to the featured bout. Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Not much for me to say about this one. This one was a pretty boring fight. Just gotta be honest. I think the first round was the most entertaining. Yeah, this is the round that he got 2 knockdowns in, Pyfer. No, yeah, man. Gastelum's done for, man. He's like I said, I predicted Pyfer to win. He was hungrier. The power difference showed a lot. The size difference showed a lot as well. And Gastelum just isn't the same level of fighter he was. I can't say nothing much more than that. Moving on though to Mario Batista versus Bellator fraud Patchy Mix. I was hyping up Patchy so much, bro. I was telling all my homies Patchy was gonna get it done. Submission, blah, blah. He did nothing for 3 rounds. And nothing isn't even an exaggeration, bro. He did nothing. Like, these strikes, bro, I don't know I don't even know where these came from, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I can't remember 3 strikes that Patchy threw. I can't. No takedown threats. Nothing, bro. He did fucking nothing, bro. And I wish I could say like fucking at least he tried. It didn't seem like it. It really didn't seem like it. Maybe it's because this was like short notice. Maybe he didn't like prepare at all. I don't know. He was hyping himself up. He's talking about he's seeing through Mario Batista. Bro, you didn't do anything, bro. You attempted 1 takedown. Where was the grappling? Nothing. Nowhere, bro. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. I gotta shout out Mario Batista. He's gonna continue to fight up. I don't know who's next for Mario Batista though. I think they should rebook the Cheeto fight. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. This was a good fight though. Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. I didn't expect Kevin Holland to get a submission win. I knew he was gonna finish the fight early or earlier, you know, and earlier somewhere in the 15 minutes. But it like I said, this was just a really bad matchup for Luque. Kevin Holland had all the tools to beat somebody like Luque, and as this and Vicente Luque at this stage of his career, and the sequence from Holland knocking Luque down with a shot that maybe wasn't that hard, but like maybe slightly knocked him off balance, but then to throw up a Darce choke on the Darce night. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Shout out Kevin Holland. This was a solid win for him to get back on. I like the call out of Colby Covington. I think he can absolutely beat Colby Covington. He might do him worse than Buckley did him. I think Holland gets Colby out of there even quicker. Honestly. But yeah. Like I said, not really much to say about this one either. This was a pretty short fight. Thankfully though. I loved having some finishes on the card that I was gonna go to. I would be extremely upset if I went to this card and there was 0 finishes. I would have been so upset, bro. So upset. But moving on to the prelims, the headliner of the prelims, Bruno Silva versus me. We got it done. I got it done in 3 rounds. Now, I didn't expect to get the knockout, but he just fell down. I was just hitting him and he just went down. And then ref pulled me off him and said fight's over. Shout out to me, man. No, shout out Joshua Van. I was definitely worried about Bruno Silva's power. And some people talked about his grappling. I knew that wasn't going to be an issue just because of Joshua Van's takedown defense. He had some really good get-ups from the ground as well. Just controlling the pace of the fight. He did look a lot better in terms of like not getting hit as much, like his defense, his head movement, his footwork. What was that thing Mighty Mouse say? Controlling the void or some shit like that. He was doing very well with that. And I knew that like that was obviously gonna be Joshua Van's path to victory, because we know he's not gonna shoot a takedown and try to submit somebody. But as long as he was able to stay away from the power of Bruno Silva, he was 100% gonna win. Just skill for skill, Joshua Van was gonna win. But I would also say though that the knockout or the finish was a little strange. I think Bruno Silva just took too much damage, just at too much volume, and it just finally caught up to him. And I guess he just decided he didn't want to take it anymore. And let's get Bruno Silva out of the top 15 of flyweight though. He's not a top 15 level fighter unless we're feeding him to Andre Lima. Oh no, not Loner, because Loner's fighting Charles Johnson. But yeah, unless we're feeding Bruno Silva to Andre Lima, I don't want Bruno Silva in the top 15. All right. And now, people are talking about Joshua Van Moreno. No. We're not doing that. We're not going to continuously murder flyweight prospects, bro. That's not what we're doing. Because if Joshua Van ends up Like Steve Erceg, bro, I'm going to light fire. Light fire to UFC headquarters. Wherever the matchmaking is, I'm lighting fire to it. Alright? I'm blowing that shit up. Now, realistically, who do I think Joshua Van should fight? Alex Perez is fighting Steve Erceg. Tim Elliott versus Kaya Sakura. No, he pulled out that, right? No. No, I'm racist. Sorry. I was thinking about Kyoji Horiguchi. My bad. Kyoji Horiguchi pulled out versus Takir. Who's above him? Manel Kopp. Royval. Who's in the top 5? What the fuck? Hold on. Checking the flyweight rankings. Okay, Albazi. Oh, he can beat Albazi. He can beat Albazi. I don't want him fighting Tagir though. I don't want him fighting Tagir. I think he can potentially fight Tagir, but I think Tagir's a bit of a cheater, and he's a very big flyweight. With some power and very grappling heavy style. And I think he gives Joshua Van a very tough fight, and I don't want that for him. Not to say like I don't believe in Van, but it's gonna be a very tough fight for him. I think he can beat Asu Amabayev. I think in a similar style of how he just beat Bruno Silva, maybe with just some more struggle on the ground, I think he can absolutely beat Asu Amabayev, and then we can start looking at whoever's in the top 5. If he beats Asu, then maybe we could throw him against. Well, I wouldn't want to do it, but I think he should maybe fight like a Tatsuro Taira after that. Because if Tatsuro Taira beats Joshua Van, that shows that, or at least showingly, he beats him with some sort of striking improvements that Tatsuro makes. Then we could start talking about putting him back in title contention. But if Joshua Van beats Tatsuro Taira, being able to defend all the grappling exchanges, then we can start really talking about Joshua Van being a champ in the division. But yeah, shout out Joshua Van, my GOAT. Got to see my GOAT live. Azma Mirzakhanov versus Brinson Ribeiro. I'm really not gonna waste y'all time. I'm not surprised. 13-0 Russian Dagestani taking on short notice Brazilian. I can't remember the last time a Dagestani lost to a Brazilian besides Said Nurmagomedov, because he gassed out. But yeah, I'm really not too surprised. This was cool to see though. So the robbery of the card: Sergey Spivak versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. I had Acosta winning in my prediction. But in the 3-round fight that I was watching with my eyes, with my under the influence eyes, I had Sergey Spivak winning every round. I have zero idea how Cortez Acosta won this decision. Zero idea. Spivak just seemed to control more of, I guess, the striking from what I saw and my memory. Because again, under the influence memory. I had Sergey Spivak winning the. I had him up on the feet. He was obviously better on the ground as well. Let's look at the stats. First round, Acosta outstruck him. I think I still had this one for Spivak though. I think I still had this round for Spivak. He just seemed to be the more dominant in this round. The second round. I feel like this is one of those ones that doesn't really tell the whole story though. Like these stats aren't gonna tell you the whole story. All right. Acosta outstruck him in this one. He defended a takedown. Okay, we'll give Acosta round 2, right? But I just feel like round 3 I had Spivak, man. I can't speak for it because I can't remember because I was like one of my most drunkest at this moment throughout the fights. But like I said, I don't think the stats are telling the true story. I had Spivak winning. But it is what it is. Acosta is probably going to end up in the top 5 of heavyweight now, which is crazy to say. Because he's definitely not a top 5 level talent at heavyweight. I think he's food for everybody up there. I think he's easy eats, easy pickings. He's going to get bullied. He's going to get knocked out in his next fight or submitted, depending on whoever he faces. Moving down the card, Chaos Williams versus Neo-Nazi. Oh, fuck. I don't think I can say that on... Whatever. Andreas Gustafsson. W meme fighter, right? This is a solid meme fighter. But... I don't know. This fight was horrendous to watch. Just being honest. I had no fun or entertainment watching this fight, except maybe like the very last 2 minutes, where I got to saw where I saw Chaos leaking and stuff and shit like that. But yeah, for Valhalla and shit like that. Moving down again to the early prelims. Ariana De Silva versus Wayne Kong. I'm not gonna waste any time. Wayne Kong was very easily winning the entire fight, dominating everywhere. And moving down to Jekka Sergey versus Ju Sang Yu Zombie Jr. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, bro. The knockout was fucking crazy. He lit the whole stadium up. I mean, not stadium. He lit up the whole arena. Or whatever the fuck you want to call it, bro. He lit up the whole shit. The whole building. The whole establishment. Whole establishment on their feet. Screaming for Ju Sang Yu. I am 100% a fan. I am 100% going to be following his career every fight. And the walkout to the zombie, in your head, they are dying. Oh my gosh, bro, he's too aura. He's so aura. This is my featherweight GOAT. And personally now, I've never been too much of a fan of the featherweights. I like Taporia. I like Volk. I like John Silva. But I feel like a lot of featherweight isn't very interesting to me. And I think I just found my new favorite featherweight fighter. Or at least, this is my new underground fighter. Right? This is my new Joshua Van. Because Joshua Van is pretty mainstream now. Right? We can see that because he was the headline of the card. But before Ju Sang Yu, it was Joshua Van. Alright? And this is before they had the YouTube channel. But crazy knockout. Just one tapped him and out cold. And he wasn't even there for the winning announcement. Like, that's how bad he did him. But super impressive. He deserved the performance of the night. I think he got performance. I think he got a performance bonus. But Moving back down to Quillen Cell Killed versus Yanal Oshmuz. Um, Yanal put up a solid fight, but Quillen Cell Killed was just way bigger, and I think that was that played a very big part into this fight because in the moments where Cell Killed was tired on the feet, excuse me 1 second. Excuse me. Sorry. But the moments where Cell Killed was too tired on the feet to throw, it was nice to see that he was gonna mix it up with some takedowns. But he didn't do too much with the takedowns. He would throw in a couple of strikes, and earlier on when he was doing so, he was getting some near submission attempts. Like he was trying to get like back takes for ground and pound, but not for submissions. I think there was one moment where he took the back. Oh no, sorry, that's the Choinsky fight. I'm thinking about the wrong one. But I wasn't too sure if Cell Killed because I wasn't aware of his grappling capabilities. But it was nice to see that he can definitely grapple, and that he's not just a stand-up fighter. Because I feel like those never succeed at any level or any division in the UFC. So it's good to see that he's very well-rounded and balanced in terms of his skill set, and he's not afraid to use either or, whether he's winning or losing. But but yeah, the size disparity between the two is what won the fight for Cell Killed, though, 100%. And then the first fight of the card, Markel Medeiros versus Mark Choinsky. It was an alright fight. Medeiros, I'd say, won the first 2 rounds. Medeiros is awkwardly bad and good at the same time. And I don't want to say bad at like shit, but like he's not great. Like I feel like he still makes a lot of mistakes very often. I understand he's still very new. He's still very green. I think this is only this after this fight. This is now his 10th pro fight, and I think he can do well later on if he makes necessary improvements. I feel like his technique is fine. I feel like though it's his IQ at times. His IQ at times, and sometimes his defense seems pretty lackluster, like the effort in it. I know Choinsky is coming off short notice, and I think he did very well for a short notice fight versus an up and comer like Medeiros. I think Choinsky deserves a contract, right? I think he showed a lot of grit, and Choinsky is definitely the one who made this fight very entertaining, at least for me. He didn't just shrivel up and like let himself get knocked out or submitted in any of these moments. He was putting up a great fight the entire 3 rounds. But yeah. So yeah, that's it. Sorry, Coda. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know what y'all thought of the card. And let me know if you guys have ever been to any UFC events and how your experience was in the comments. Overall, I would say this card was definitely 8 out of 10. I would say 10 out of 10, but that would be biased because I went. This is my home city. But overall, even if I was to watch this at a bar, at like pay-per-view or pay-per-view, like on the TV or even Russian Link, I would still give this card 8 out of 10. Very fun card to watch. Man, just I can't stop talking about it, but just being there, dream come true. Dream come true, for real. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I'm not gonna hold y'all anymore. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how your UFC experiences was. Let me know what you thought of the card. And yeah, that's it.